I get this question a lot, mostly from like family and friends. And you know, just throw this video out there. I'm gonna be talking about how the hell do I actually afford this car, and how am I affording to actually modify it at the same time. And it's all just really like, the three main things is build credit, learn how to save money, and have a consistent job or jobs. Basically, it all started when I actually got, for those who know me, before I had the Mustang, I had a Genesis. The first car I've ever got and I started building credit with was a 2014 3.8 Genesis Coupe. So I got that car around last year. That car has been in my house, and I have been paying for that car as well for about, I want to say a year and a couple months, and like a year and 2 months. And when I got that car, I wanted the Mustang really, really badly, but I knew if I were to get that Mustang, I would be crazy because I didn't have any credit. I knew I could have got one out of a lot, but I didn't have any credit. There was no way I could get it. And like, I knew if I were to get it, my bills would be like literally on top of the roof. So what I did was I was like, okay, that Genesis was about $20,000 out of the lot, $20,000, right? So I was like, okay, so I'll just get this car for now. And I was kind of tired of having like these other cars that always broke down on me. So I was like, okay, I'll get this car for now. I'll have it for like a year, and I'll build credit. So what I did was I got that car, right? I would pay monthly for the car, obviously, like every month. But there was times where I would pay like a week before my due date, and I would give more than what I was supposed to, like $50 more, right? And there would be times where I would actually pay that bill twice. Do you know what I mean? And so I was like, okay, what the hell? And then in my head, I was like, if I'm able to pay this car payment twice in 1 month, like, what makes myself think that I can't get a Mustang, right? But again, why I saved myself was because I know I have friends who are paying over $1,000 a month for a Mustang GT just on the payment, not with insurance. So I was like, okay, I don't want to do that, right? So I'm like, because no one's telling me that I have to pay twice a month for the Genesis, right? I just choose to do that. It's not like if I want to, I'm just trying to build credit. And then I also got like a credit card, and what I do with the credit card, like, I'll buy something with the credit card, right? Like, I'll buy a soda that's like $1. I'll buy it with the credit card, then the next day I'll pay the credit card that $1. And I've done that. I've been doing that for a year. A lot of people actually don't know that I do that, but yeah, I have been doing that. I've been doing that. I've had a car payment. My credit score alone, me by myself, is 700, right? A year passed, and then I said, I was like, okay, like the time of getting I checked my credit score, it was 700. I was like, the time of getting the Mustang is close, right? So what I was planning on doing was actually trading in the Genesis for this car. But at the same time, it's just kind of weird how it happened. My mom was also looking for a car as well, and then I was just messing around, and I told her, hey, just keep the Genesis, and then I'll you know, buy my Mustang. And I was just kidding, and she said, she like agreed to it, and I was like, what? And I was shook, right? And so we ended up doing that, and I was looking online. Like, I was looking for like about 3 days to see what Mustang would pop up. I did find a lot. I found some GTs, S550s for like 25 grand, 27 grand, but they had like 35,000 miles, right? So I was like, nah, if I want to get a Mustang, if I'm going to get that, because the people who know me, I've been wanting a Mustang for the longest time, but I was just being smart about it. I could have got that Mustang like a year ago when I got the Genesis, but I was being smart about it. So I was like, no, I need to build credit first. Like, I can't just go, you know what I mean? So and I've had friends that got the Mustang before me, and where I live around my area, like, everyone's getting Mustangs now. So I was like, fuck, like, damn. Now, like, if I get one, everyone's gonna be like, oh, he's trying to be like everyone else. But I could give two fucks about what people think. I don't care. Like, I know myself, and the people who know me know that I've been wanting a Mustang for the longest time. So fast forward, where was I at? I was looking through Mustangs, and then I found this one that I'm in, right? And I swear to God, I shit you not, I passed by it, and it's, so the exact mile is this is a 2015 GT S550, right? So the miles were like, it said 4,800 and something. That's how much miles it had when I picked it up. But when I was scrolling through, I had thought it said 40,000, right? And then I was like, whatever, so I ignored it. And I remember I was like, I seen it though, it caught my attention. I was like, dude, this fucking car is clean. And I was like, I want it, right? Because it had everything that, like, it had shit that I was gonna do to it that I didn't need to do to it because it already had it, right? So then I was like, this shit's clean. And I go back to it, I started settling, because the problem with me is I settle a lot. So I started settling on it. This car was priced at 27 grand, right? And then it had and I looked closely and I was like, what the fuck? That doesn't say 40,000 miles, that says 4,800 miles. So this car, it currently right now has 6,414. I've had this car for like almost 3 months already. So I seen that it said 4,000 and I was like, what? And then I was like, no way. So immediately, the car was in Livermore, and Livermore is about an hour away from where I'm at, from where I live. So it's like in the bay, but I think it's like the beginning of the bay, I don't know. So I was like, what the fuck, we gotta go. So I told my mom, I was like, hey, like, we gotta go. Like, there's a Mustang that's priced at starting 27 grand, a 2015 with 4,800 miles. And it's literally like calling my name. I was like, dude, what the fuck? And so we went to Livermore. I seen the car right when he pulled it up. I was like, damn. Do you know what I mean? I was like, this car's fucking clean. It was, I said I wanted a Mustang, but I wanted something different. I didn't want it like everyone else was getting a white Mustang, black, gray. Like my initial color that I wanted a yellow one, right? I was looking for yellow, like a fucking bright ass red, or something different. I saw this car, it was fucking, it's called Deep Impact Blue with the black and red stripes, right? So I was like, what? Like, this is different. Like, you know what I mean? It looks like a fucking GT350. I was like, that's crazy. And like, so I seen it and the guy was like, do you want to test drive it? And a lot of people know when you get cars at the lot, when people ask if you want to test drive it, they, you basically lost. You know what I mean? Once you test drive a vehicle on the lot, you lost. You're gonna end up leaving with that car. So they ran my credit, whatever, I got approved. Walked out of the door, I didn't put a down payment. I was gonna put $1,000, and I had asked them if I put $1,000 down, how much lower would my payment go? And they said 20 bucks. I was like, nah, fuck that. Why am I gonna put $1,000 down just for 20 bucks? Nah. So we left with the car out the door, $32,000. This car was $32,000 outside of the door with taxes and everything, because my credit score was so high, and I also used my mom as a co-signer. Or actually, I think I'm the co-signer. I don't know. But obviously she has a higher credit score, or around the same credit score as I do. So I left with the car, right? At $32,000. So 2 weeks pass by and I get a note saying that basically the lot wants the car back, right? So I was like, what? So I didn't know lots could do that, but apparently lots can do that when they find out like financial problems. Like if there's something wrong with like basically what they were trying to say is we didn't make enough money to afford this car. And then I was like, that's bullshit, because me alone with my credit score, if I wanted to, I could afford this car, right? But then that's where we fucked up. So it was a big old process. It took about like 2 months for them to actually, for everything to be like good and for me to actually be comfortable. So what we had did where we fucked up is we put down how much money I'm not gonna say how much money we make, just know that we have enough to afford shit, right? Whatever, I'm not gonna go into detail how much money me and her make together, because it doesn't matter. But I mean, if I'm able to get this car to the lot, that shows a lot. You know, I'm not trying to like sound like we're fucking rich. We're far from rich. We're just whatever, fuck it. So so what we had did was I put down on my part, I put down how much money I make after they take out my taxes, right? So that's where I fucked up. That's why they were saying like my part was fucked up. They needed me to do it over, because what we need to put down is how much money I make before taxes. That's what they count. So I was putting down how much I would get paid a month after they would take all the taxes out. I guess you're not supposed to do that, right? So I was like, okay, fuck. So it was a whole process. Then they started like trying to call my bosses, right? Because I have 2 jobs. And then they called both of them. They tried to make sure I wasn't fraud. Like I didn't, they tried to make sure that the hours I was telling on my work weren't fake. And then it was like a whole 2 month process. So this car wasn't being touched for about 2 months, right? I've had the car for 2 months, and then like, I've had it for 3 now, but I've had it for like, or almost 3, I'm not sure. It hasn't been touched for 2 months. I didn't modify it. I didn't even touch it because I was like, why am I gonna modify it, do all this shit to it if they're gonna end up taking it away, right? Then comes the call. I'm waiting, I'm like stressed for the fuck out for like 2 months, right? But the bright side to that, I didn't have to pay 2 months worth of payments for the car, right? Because it still technically wasn't mine, it was the law's. So, that's like over $1,000 that I spent for 2 months on this car. So I basically got the car free for 2 months without any payments. So 2 months passes by. Just keep in mind that in these 2 months, I'm stressed the fuck out, right? I'm like, shit, like, what the fuck? Like, why are they gonna how are they gonna let me walk out with the car and then end up saying that I can't have it after, right? So they had found out that, because my mom's whole part with her financial and her like problems, like all the money that whatever, her part was fine. They were just investigating me, right? And because I fucked up, and then I was like, damn, I didn't know we were supposed to tell them how much we make before taxes. So they found out that I wasn't lying. I actually made way more than what they had I had said in the first place. That's one. So I was like, I told them I made this much amount of money, but it comes out that I made $500 more than what I said I made, so that's even better, on top of with my credit score. And then so and then I get a phone call 2 months later, hey, from Wayne at Livermore Toyota. That guy is, shout out that dude. He did everything he could to let me keep the car, and he actually did everything. Like I ended up keeping the car, and I thank him for that. I thank Livermore Toyota for working for me, like working with me. I appreciate it. But so he hits me up, he gives me a call, and he tells me, hey, is this Israel, whatever. So I just want you to know that you're approved. You got approved, everything is fine, everything worked out just fine, like you're good. Like, the car is yours, but we just need you to, and then he gave me 2 options. He's like, you could either pay those 2 months of payments that you missed, or you could come all the way back to Livermore to sign a new contract. And basically he would give me another 45 days on top of that to pay my first bill. And then I was like, what? And he dropped the car price down to $1,000 because of everything that went on, and my bills went down even more. So I was like, fuck that. So I went to Livermore, signed, made a whole new contract. I asked him, I made sure, hey, is this gonna happen again? You know what I mean? Like I asked him, I don't want this to happen again. And he was like, oh no, you're completely fine. And I know it's legit now because I actually got a paper. Dealers actually send you papers like a month or a couple days later, a couple days before you need to pay your first bill. And I got a bill, your first payment is this, you owe this at this date, right? So my car payments a month for this car is $600, right? This is $600 with like a 5 or 6% interest rate, and my insurance is $120. So in total a month, I'm paying $720 for this car. I was expecting $800, right? So I was like, okay, I can afford it, so fuck it, why not? Afford it with extra money on top for me. You know what I mean? That's all that matters. So that's how much I'm paying a month for this car. And then I got to keep it, everything was fine. And then, like as soon as everything was fine, I paid it, or not paid it, but he gave me a whole, so like my first fucking monthly bill is actually next month, right? Next month on the 5th. That's my first bill that I need to pay, and I've had this car, it's gonna be 3 months, right? So I basically had the car free for 2 months, and I'm paying my first payment next month on the 5th, which I think is insane. And it's kind of cool, but whatever. So that's what happened with all that. So there was also, and then right when I found out that I was keeping the car already had an exhaust, and it has a short shifter. I don't know what kind of short shifter it is, but it's really fucking like neutral. Look, that's neutral. You can't even, there's no free play on neutral. So I hate Turlock. So I had fucking, as soon as I found out the car was mine, I put a engine, the whole video I made before this one, it already had a Steeda exhaust, and I just bought a cold air intake for it, and I got it tuned immediately, right? Because that's the start of this fucking build. And as soon as I found out it was mine, I was comfortable to start doing mods and everything. So now, like, be expecting more content. And this build for this car is going to be insane, and I hope you guys like it. And thank you guys for watching the video. And that is basically my whole fucking story on how I got this car without fucking, you know, losing it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.